Ready? Okay. If you put in, I put in what I like to my games now.
Yeah, recorder.
Indian, never is a way.
Yeah, recorder then upload on YouTube.
You might read the work out now. How long motor? No,
Oh no.
never way. For YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did after the train.
Next.
Huh?
Next.
What would a Bafana Africa Cup of Nations win mean for soccer in South Africa? You see where the thought process is already heading, right? We are at the possibility of a tournament level win over here. Why not? We've done it before. Surely we can do it again. I know, easier said than done. It's a tough tournament AFCON 2025. And there are various factors that could mean the difference between euphoria and heartbreak. We will discuss tonight. We have an extended program for you tonight. We want to bring you all the live action from Morocco. The opening ceremony taking place soon. The latest from the Bafana camp, as well as some sound analysis. Morocco 2025. The tournament will be played at 9 stadiums, right? In 6 host cities. 24 nations divided into 6 groups of 4 each for the group stage. The top 2 teams from each group, along with the 4 best third-place teams, will advance to the round of 16, making the start of the knockout phase. These are this question of the week. And we're asking you, after finishing third at the last AFCON, what should be considered as a realistic target for Bafana in this tournament, as well as the World Cup, right? We also have our eyes set on that as well. Let us know at SABC News _T. Let's walk. We are also opening up the lines tonight. 011 714 0677 7879 011 714 0677 7879. That number on your screen. Get calling. I want to talk to you live on there. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Also at SABC News _TV. We're also on Facebook. Perspective coming up. let's see up the discussions for you, what we know and why it matters. Let me bring in a better mind. SABC Sports journalist Thando Mkholi. Thank you, sir, for your time. I know it's been a busy day for you, analyzing, strategizing from the studio. But let's talk about the history and the records, right? I wonder, 96 champions, 98 runners-up, 2000 third place. Is there something different this time around that gives you an air of confidence that this could be the year for Bafana?
Brandon, look, the one thing about South Africa, especially with the Bafana team, they never had humble beginnings. Remember, even the 96 championship winning side, they had gone through a period, we even called the 4x4s, because teams like Nigeria were basically getting a beating of us. That team found itself in a very difficult period in our country when the country was into transition, and within each other, as a group, they grew together and they managed to achieve this amazing feat, and a very good manager in Kyle Parker. What I love about that whole line, he's not just a coach, he was a good manager, but he also had brilliant brains behind him like the Jomo Sonos of this world, who helped him basically get the team together and almost ride on the wave of the 1995 World Cup team to achieve this amazing feat. Yes, a lot of Nigerian supporters will still tell me that we would have never won the 1996 World Cup, the Champions Cup, if Nigeria were there, because Nigeria were the Olympic champions at that time. But still, great victory by South Africa in 1996. Another important thing was the 1998 one, and that John also on the way. The team were runners-up, but the important thing about that is the old guard was almost falling away, and a new very talented team, and the 23s, the one that played in the Olympics before, they were taking over. The youngsters, Aaron Mukona as well, who's going to be on the show later. Those youngsters were almost coming into the team, and that transition was also very smooth. You had a young Billy McCarthy also being seen as a possible spearhead of the national team. So that period for me was probably the most successful in terms of two very good generation of players coming together, and the results show. That process was managed very well. There was a bit of a lull, as we saw after 2000 when Trot Moloto came third.
Right.
But there was a number of things that came into that. People talked about the inconsistency in selection, maybe the wrong selections, maybe you didn't have the right talent.
Yeah.
It's a process to build a national team.
Right.
It's not something that happens over 2 or 3 years. Hence, when you look at this current group of players, a lot of people are saying very talented groups of players in terms of individual talent.
Right.
But how
Kept the core together for about 2 years. Right.
That's important because the relationships have been built. So if you look at this, a lot of people said, when you look at the guys, like one of the for example, starts probably Goku's Mudao, Mogazi, that's a quality difference you're looking at. Experience difference, that's also important. Mogazi, when he lacks in experience, he gives you in heart. So again, those are proper players. Obi Modiba, another one who comes in there and almost shows the quality. Kurumana Damane for me is a player that shines. He's a little 20-year-old who's shown in the World Cup qualifiers, and he showed his quality in being steadfast under very trying circumstances. Midfielders, that's where we believe the action will come from Bafana.
Right.
In terms of goals, in terms of creativity, and also where most of our play happens. That's where the creativity happens. That's where our fluidity happens in that squad. So again, another worry has been the forwards.
Right.
A lot of people have said we don't have enough goals in the forwards. Lyle Foster, for all his talent, a lot of people have questioned his form, but still, the talent is there. Coach Hugo Bruce has believed in the talent, and the talent that has shown over and over again that it's world class.
He's believed in some youngsters as well, right?
Yes.
Sandra Campbell, Tylen Smith. Were you surprised by these inclusions?
I was a bit because Sandra Campbell, brilliant talent, one for the future. But when you look at some of them, a player like Ikram Rain has been left behind. You sit and you say, in a difficult quarterfinal match, you need that experience to get you through. You need the character to get you through. I always refer back to the 2016 Champions League winning side of Sundowns, when Anthony Lafont, maybe not so influential in the league, but in the Champions League, his character basically almost lifted the team to another level.
Right.
We've got characters like that. Tebogo Mokoena is a player like that. Mogas is a player like that. Chris Omudao is a player like that. The guys who want to own the game. The guys who say, in tough times, let me lead and I'll show you what we can do.
But could the thought process process, of course, winning AFCON is the priority. But could the thought process be also, we've got another big tournament coming up next year. Let's see how these guys play.
No, it should be. It's longer than that. The minute you start looking at back-to-back tournaments, then you can get it wrong.
Right.
Because you sit there and you're looking at a second tournament while you have to play in the first place. So I think Hugo Bruce's first priority will be to do well here.
Yes.
The World Cup is another tournament with its own challenges. Another thing people forget, for example, to qualify for AFCON, we actually qualified for the World Cup sooner than we qualified for AFCON a couple of months back. We had to play World Cup qualifiers. Those are different challenges.
Yes.
So that the World Cup dream has to be put aside and you have to focus on this. This is where we basically get our respect on the continent. This is where the currency of South African football basically remains.
Talk to me about how important this man is.
Very important when we mean this is not his first.
Hugo Bruce earlier today at the press conference saying that this AFCON is far tougher than Ivory Coast. He says those countries that you mentioned, I think Morocco, Egypt, Cameroon, they've learned their lessons from the last time. They're not going to make the same mistakes here. Once we get past the group stages, who's our biggest test here? Who's the threat?
There are many threats. There are many threats. There are certain countries like Cote d'Ivoire.
Yes.
always they are dangerous team. Cameroon, for example, have the talent, but they've gone into this tournament with a lot of turmoil between Samuel Eto'o, who's the FA president, and the country and the former coach.
Right.
Morocco, an obvious threat because the host nations, the World Cup campaign, we saw them as semi-finalists the last time, always dangerous. Algeria, Riyad Mahrez and the gang, they play entertaining football. But a lot of people have said these are the perennial underachievers in African football. Senegal, quality galore. Another team for me that's interesting is Nigeria. Nigeria have all the big names, but failed to qualify for the World Cup. Despite those big names, that is something that they'll carry very heavy in their heart. And they want to basically prove that in Africa, they are still one of the kings of Africa. You go down, even a country like Botswana, who've had a great sporting program, both in the tennis and soccer. There are a number of teams here, when you sit and you look around and you say, listen, this could be tricky for a number of teams. Egypt playing for more Salah. There are many problems, there are many headaches.
We will pause it here. Thank you so much. Stick around, we can keep it in mind in the next segment. But I want to take us live now to SABC News reporter Sifiso Ramada, who is live for us in Marrakesh. It's where the Ferrari is currently having their training session. He joins us now to, I guess, gauge the team's preparedness ahead of the opening game against Angola tomorrow. Sifiso, I'm told he's not quite ready yet, but I was listening to Hugo Bruce earlier on today at that press conference. These are live visuals, by the way, from Rabat. Sifiso is in Marrakesh. Hugo Bruce was talking to us about how the team is now complete, right? He said since Thursday, this team is complete. And he said that the motivation was different this time around. I wonder what is the mood in the camp and what's the difference. Minatanda was talking to us about the air. Something is in the air this time around. What could that be? Rowan Williams as well, was talking about how the coach has kept this core group of players together over the last 2 years. And I guess that really bodes well to the chemistry. Why? Because they know each other's weaknesses, they know each other's strengths. The difference is that there's no injuries at this stage. Let's bring in Sifiso Ramada live for us in Marrakesh. Sifiso, a very good evening to you. I'm sure you can hear you loud and clear, sir. Talk to us about the mood in the camp currently. It seems that we're having a bit of an issue with Sifiso. We will try to get him back into the studio. We'll bring him, we'll get him his take. He's witnessing what has been happening over there in Marrakesh, the training session ahead of the Angola game. It's a must win.